Alright, in this video we're just going to look at finalizing the project, any project quite frankly, but this one's specific to the Arrow assignment, and then preparing the zip folder and then submitting it onto Blackboard. So we're just going to look at this. I'm done with my file, I'm happy with it, I'm good with the AI file, so I've saved it as an AI and I've been working on the AI file. Thank you to Jihe Bu for allowing me to use her Arrow assignment. She did a great job. I'm finished, I'm done. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to File. I'm going to save a copy. I don't want to go to Save As because it might overwrite the AI file. So what I'm just going to say save a copy. And from there, what I can do is I'm going to go to my desktop. But now on my desktop, what I did was I created a folder that was actually properly organized ahead of time. So what's in my folder? First of all, I called this particular one Applied Digital Technology, which is the name of this course. Then I also have my A1_Arrow assignment. Inside that assignment, I have an AI folder where my AI is found, named properly. I have a final folder where I'm going to place my final PDF. And I have my resource folder where I put my vector arrow graphic. That's how yours should look. But if it doesn't and you organize yourself a slightly different way, that's fine. But everything should be in one place for each specific project. Either way, that's where I am. I'm going to save it to my final folder. And I'm going to change the format to PDF. Once again, if I wanted to, I could actually save individual artboards. I could say artboard 3 or artboard 2 or whichever, or 1 to 2 if I wanted to say 1 to 2, 1 to 3, which is all of them obviously. But I'm just going to say all, and it's going to use the artboards anyway. So that's it. That's all I got to do. So I'm just going to say save. And for this particular assignment, once again, I'm just going to look through this really quickly. I'm going to go to my presets. I'm just going to say, as the assignment sheet mentions, smallest file size, and that's all I need is smallest file size. The ones you're going to use probably more often are press quality. That's your best quality you could possibly get out of a PDF, and that's what you usually send to printers. This smallest file size for this particular assignment, we're not sending it to print or anything like that. We're just going to send it to me to mark, but I do want a good quality. But because there's no raster graphics used, I don't have to worry about that. Remember, you trace that raster graphic. So that's all I have to do is smallest file size, and I'm going to get the vectors. Another option here too is actually I made my own custom preset, which is going to be press quality, and it adds all the bleeds and trim marks and everything I want. But that's another situation. But you can make your own custom ones. So for now, smallest file size. Preserve Illustrator editing capability, sure. Embed page thumbnails, don't worry about it. Optimize for fast web view, sure. View PDF after saving. Always view your PDF after saving. There's marks and bleeds. Sometimes we look at marks and bleeds when we have actually set up a bleed on our assignment. This assignment does not have bleeds, but there is another video that shows you how to set up marks and bleeds. Either way, I'm good to go. And I'm just going to say save PDF. And I'm going to save that PDF. And once again, it saves and it shows me what it looks like. Always look at your final PDFs. Don't just assume everything's fine, because usually there are some mistakes. I'm going to go through and say, yeah, that's correct. Everything's perfect. Great. I'm done with this. I'm just going to minimize that for now. I'm going to go into my folder. Let me just do it right here. I'm going to double click on my folder that I've organized. A1_Arrow, AI is there, the final right there, great. And once again, because I saved it as a copy, I'm just going to delete the word copy, and there it is. If you leave it there accident, that's fine, doesn't really matter. And sometimes what I like to do as well, just for my own experience and also passing that on to you, I like to save the file with the day, the month I started it, and the year. So this was Sep 20. Now, once again, you don't have to do this, but I like to do this with all my files. It's a great way to help you see what the most recent file was, or when maybe you created it. Obviously, you can click on it and see down here when things were created, but this doesn't always give you the exact information, or sometimes it could be a little off depending on when things were saved, how things were saved, and all that good stuff. So either way, I like to do that. You don't have to do that. Last name, first initial, section number, underscore, the name of the project is totally fine. This one's the PDF. Now remember, I need to have the PDF and the AI file zipped together. Well, how do we do that? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a copy of this. Now remember, I could Command-C and Command-V if I want to on a Mac, or Control-C, Control-V, but I can do that way and do the same here. Copy and paste. I'm just going to put it on my desktop. But instead, what I like to do, it's a common thing we like to get used to, is hold down Option and just click and drag it off onto the desktop. That's it. Go to the AI file, because I have my PDF there. I'm just going to click on it and click and drag and hold down Option and drag it off. So I have my copy here, and I still have my copy here. I didn't lose them. I just duplicated them and dragged them off. Remember, click on it, hold down Option, and click and drag it off. Or of course, once again, Command-C, Command-V, but if there's always one name there, I'm just going to stop. But that's another way to do it. That's it, done. Now, that's all I have to do is select the two files. Just click and drag, or click on one, hold down Shift, click the other one. It's entirely up to you. I just like to click and drag an invisible rectangle or imaginary rectangle over top, and I right click and I go to compress. Now on a PC, it's a little bit different in terms you're going to do a WinZip or some type of zip app, native app you have on your OS. But for the Mac, which is what I'm teaching you, this is how you do it. Select the both, right click, and compress. There is an archive file that shows up. This is the zip file. Now once again, what you should do for this is name it properly. So what I would do here is just copy that name. So I just click on it once, and click on it again, and then I could just select it, Command C, click on my archive, click on it again, or right click and rename. And I'm going to I don't want to touch the end of it, the file name. I just want to change the name of this, and there I go. And now I have it named properly. That's a mark. That's a properly saving something. I don't want to see a bunch of archive files that are given to me. This is how I want this to be done. So I saved that. Now it's a zip. Perfect. I could actually delete these because they are already saved in my organized folder right here. So I have this good. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to open up my Blackboard. I'm going to go to Submissions. It's a new tab here on the left-hand side under Assignments. I'm going to click on Submissions. And look, there's my first submission. There's going to be many submissions down here. This gives you a little direction on how to properly submit. Just a little step-by-step, but also it gives you a couple little notes, some things you might want to consider. I'm going to click on the title. I'm going to see, okay, this is when the due date. This is how many marks it's worth. And that's all I have is this, obviously my directions, and I have a little dotted line box. I could browse my computer, or because it's a Mac, and maybe PC does this too, depending on your situation, I could just click and drag my zip file onto that, and look, it turns purple to show that, yes, I'm about to drag something on there. I drop it in, and look, it shows me right down here when I'm about to submit my zip file, and I can get rid of it if I say do not attach, but I'm not going to, that's fine. I could add a comment if I want. You could write something letting me know something, some information about it. If you haven't emailed me already, or say something funny, I really don't care. I always love a little funny something. And then once I'm done, I see it's there, I'm just going to say submit. And once I submit it, it's just going to give me a preview to say, yes, it has submitted, usually a purple box. Yes, success, your submission appears on this page. So success, and this is what you see. Now, if I go back and I take a look at submissions, and I just kind of look at the note I have. Actually, sorry, let me do it this way. I'm going to see note. If you made an error and need to resubmit, just follow the steps above again. These steps, just drag and drop, and you're not going to overwrite the file. You're just going to add another file. But the file that I'm going to mark will be the last one that you submitted. So don't worry about that. Also, sometimes files take longer than expected, depending on how large the file is, the size of it. So just take a little bit, just be patient, wait for that success to come up. If it still doesn't come up after many, many tries and many times of patience, please let me know. But for the most part, some of these assignments are pretty small, so there really shouldn't be too many issues. So that's how you, number one, make the PDF, number two, how you zip it, and number three, how you submit it. So I hope that helps.